Good morning, I'm Andy Garrison, and this is Mrs. Beastie. This is my Sprinter 350 WXD van. It's a dually van. She's a 2019. She's been a passionate labor of love for about 5 years now. She's gone through a couple reiterations to get to this build. I probably did 70% of it on my own, but definitely there were things that I outsourced when it became too big or too heavy or I needed expertise. So let me take you on in and show you the inside of my home. So this is my home. I did a fixed bed. I originally had a C bed like most people do, but I found making the bed all the time was not conducive to full-time living. And I really wanted this large garage space. So underneath here, this is all a garage. I can access it from the front and the back. And I have a 400-pound slide that pulls out in the back. And you can carry a multitude of sins down there. One of the things that I did with this van to really make it troubleshooting friendly is all my electrical is on this side and my battery packs and my Victron centers down over here. And then on this side is my water tanks that's on the inside. I have a 20-gallon water tank and an instant hot water tank. This is a shower. I have no black tanks. It drains directly to the ground. And then I have plumbing to my kitchen sink. And underneath my kitchen sink is a 5-gallon jerry can that becomes my gray water. So what I love about this, and of course I'm a van lifer, so I apologize. Of course everything's going to fall out. But you can see there's my water tank. I just Velcro it in. And I do have a water pump. It's on a timer. Let me put this stuff back. I apologize. You know, as a van lifer, you have to use every space, so it's not always pretty. But here's my water pump. I can just turn my water pump on right here. And then here's my timer for my hot water tank. So I can set all that up, and that way I only use it when I need to have it. These are all 12 volt, the water pump and the lights, and those are AC, so you have to have a converter for that, and they use a lot of energy, so I don't like to use them all that much. I also have a 110 over here. Again, I don't use it that much because it takes a lot of energy, but you can see I love my little tea kettle. It heats up really well. I have 400 watts of lithium-ion battery on this and a 380 watt panel on top. I do have a NTTP converter, which allows me to go from DC to AC, and I also have a DC to DC connection to my alternator. So the fun thing with this rig when I built her out was that she can charge off her alternator in case I don't have a lot of sun. I have a hidden 30 amp shore plug, but in 5 years I've only used it one time. Most of the time I try to go off the sun. The other thing that I did with this van is I put in rattle trap on all the walls, and I have 2 inches of insulation on top and 2 inches of insulation on the bottom because I built her to be a 4 seasons van. I started building her up in Seattle, Washington, and it gets pretty cold and rainy up there. And then I spent a lot of my time down in the Southwest. So I wanted her to be able to go both ways. So that's the infrastructure on the baby. She's always evolving. She's never done, but this is my favorite reiteration. She's been a lot of fun, a lot of labor, but I really enjoy her. Okay, so this is my DC to DC fridge. It's powered by DC. It's about 5 years old. It's a ARB fridge. It can be a freezer or a fridge. Originally, I had it between my seats the first 3 years I had it. And the reason that I put her here is one is when I pull up from the grocery store, I can just load directly in here and I don't have to have any plastic bags. But I also have a home in Mexico that I'm there part-time. And so I cross the border a lot. And this allows me to go through U.S. Customs and Mexico Customs and just open it up and show them that I don't have anything naughty in here. It also is on a 400-pound slide, so it becomes an extra seat as well, which I really love because everything you do in a van has to have multiple purposes. It locks midway or it locks all the way in, so there's a nice safety feature on it. And then the bonus is you can shove all your shoes around and that becomes your shoe caddy. This floor is a unique floor. It's got a couple inches of insulation, but it also has glycolic tubing all the way through it. There is a boiler in the back that hooks up to the diesel heater, and it runs the heat all the way through the floor, so it's a heated floor. I rarely use the air blower heater for the diesel heater. I actually use the heated floor more than anything. What I have found is that heat rises, and if you can keep your feet warm, it really can do well. This fan comfortably goes 10 degrees below zero without me feeling any pain. I have the diesel heater tapped a quarter before the gas tank is empty, so if you go out somewhere and you're stupid and you're out there too long, you don't end up stranding yourself. You run out of heat, you wake up, you have to go to town and get more gas. But that's one of the things I tell people. If you're going to tap into your primary tank, it's nice because you've only got one thing to fill up and you don't have to deal with extra tanks. But make sure you tap high enough up that you can get yourself back to civilization if it's, you know, sucking all your thing. But I usually can run this thing a week of heat off my diesel tank without having to go back into town. It's usually pretty good. So these swinging doors, this particular Sprinter, the door does not open up 380. It only comes up half, and it's a wind hazard. You need to be really careful with these doors. So what I do is I just keep bungee ropes around, and you can take your bungee rope, and then you can just take it to your wheel well and clip it right there, and then the door will not slam you when winds come along. So be creative in the way that you think about safety, because these really, they'll break your hand. Okay, welcome to my garage. It's a pigsty, but it's usable. The piece that I love the most about this is I do have a rear shower besides the one that's inside, and you can spray down things. I use this actually more than my inside shower a lot. My inside shower really is my wet room, where I put my muddy boots, my fly fishing gear, my drying all my skivvies that I wash by hand. I know everyone says that a shower is not needed, and it's not, but it's a good luxury when you're living a long time off the road, because if you're a solo traveler, you really don't want your skivvies hanging outside the window so people know that you're a woman. So that's what I love it the most for. This is my 400-pound slide. I put this in last year because crawling back here and getting to all my stuff was a pain in the butt. And so now I can easily pull things in and out. But the real thing I love about it is that if I have to troubleshoot the electronics or the power system, I offload all of this stuff, and it becomes like a mechanic jerry wheel, and I can crawl in it and scoop myself back in, roll myself in and out, and work on my stuff. Wow. So I use it as, you know, like a mechanical table, because it's 400 pounds, and I'm not 400 pounds yet. So, but literally I can just load my stuff up and go. It's made a huge difference to get to all my stuff. And you can see I built in hidden cubby holes everywhere back there. There's little cabinets and cubby holes for everything, to make the best use out of the space. Like, I tried not to leave anything to waste. That's the power system. I don't know if you want to look at that. I would not do that the same way now. It's a Victron. So Tiny Watt Solar helped me build this. It was early 2019, and they did not have the all-in-one power systems. So this has got all the Victron pieces in it. It's very complicated. So when you have to troubleshoot it, it's not the easiest thing. It's more powerful than your average bear. But if I was building my van today, I really would get one of those solar all-in-one power stations. It doesn't matter if it's Jackery or any of the other name brands, because they're all in one and they have everything in it now. And because you can get them at 3,000 watts or whatever for a couple $100 or about $1,000, it would be way cheaper and less complicated than this thing. This is great when it works, but when it doesn't work, you have to have a little mechanical and electrical engineering to figure it out, or you're paying money for someone to come and dig it out. So that's I love it when it works. But when it doesn't, it's not, keep it simple, stupid, KISS if you can. That's my big advice, because technology's come such a long way. There's more affordable ways of doing it. So this is the Alvan ladder, and Alvan put it on for me, and I love it because these tires are 150-pound tires, and my spare was underneath the van. And I knew if I ever blew a tire, there would be no way I'd have the upper body strength to pull this thing out. And this is a ladder and a spare tire in hand, and then I got this roto pack on top of it, right? And you can do water or you can do gas with this. And this is very stable. The piece I love is that I'm 58 years old, and no 58-year-old wants to go crawling up a 10-foot van and worrying about falling off. And I crawl up and down this one all the time. It's very safe, and it has a very low footprint on your van. It's not on the side, so it's not going to grab a tree or anything like that. And it adds extra security to the back of the van, like nobody can break in the back window. So I love this. It was worth the investment, and Alvan did a really good job installing it. Again, anything that was too big or required multiple people, there were some things I just hired out, because if you can save up your pennies and do that, then do it. If you can't and you've got help, good for you. But I spent 5 years building this, so I just save up my pennies and do little things at a time, and it didn't come all together at once. So along with the van, all these cushions are handmade. My great aunt and I made these from scratch. This one could be a little bit thinner, but all of these covers is with Sombrella fabric. It's the same fabric you get by a pool. So it's totally washable, it's water resistant, and it all zips off. All of them have a zip on it, and I can just throw them in a washer or dryer if it gets really dirty. And I just love it because it's outdoor fabric. I even take them outside and throw them on the dirt and sit on them, and it's no big deal. So that's my thing. If you're going to do any kind of, if you're going to do any kind of cushions, get an outdoor fabric, because it's way more forgiving than indoor fabric. And so those are all my little cushions. So the positive thing about building your own home is, one, you're never going to get it right. It's going to go through some reiterations, because you're going to have to learn through it, and that's okay. There's no mistake. Everything's learning. But the pro about building your own vehicle is that you understand how it was put together. You know where the wires are. You know how things work. So when it breaks down, you know how to fix it yourself, or at least get it 99% there. When you buy something that's already done, you don't know where anything is. And so when it breaks down, it's way more frustrating, because you don't know how to troubleshoot it. You don't know where everything is. So I encourage you, even if you're not mechanically inclined, there's so many great videos, there's so many resources out there. Try it. And it's okay if it's not perfect the first time around. This is my 3rd or 4th reiteration. Trust me, when it first started out, it was a plywood floor, a Tommy Bahama beach chair sitting on the floor. It took a long time for me to figure out how I wanted to do it. And so don't be afraid. You can do it, and you'll be surprised at how much you can do by yourself. So the other thing, when you're a solo woman, there's a bunch of different things you can do to make your van a little more secure. I hired a machinist in Seattle to make this for me. It's just a flat plate. He puts no seam on it, and we just screwed it into my window. So when this awning window comes out, nobody can break through the awning and pull the lock up. And then in the back, I have just a simple eye hook, like for a back gate, and I can lock my back doors when I'm in here. So there are some low-tech things that you can do to help things be a little more secure when you're in your van. The other thing is, I keep bear spray, I keep a fire extinguisher, I have a taser, and I have a big ass hammer. So if you're going to come in the van, I'm not saying that I'll make it out, but you're going to go with me. So good luck with that one. So I'm 3/4 time. I love being in my van. I do have a home base in Mexico where I'm there occasionally. I love this life. I love this travel. I love meeting all the women out on the road. Hope to see you all out there, and I hope you really feel the fear and take your adventure step forward, because you never know what life's going to give you until you step outside your comfort zone, and all of a sudden those fears go away and you find great joy. So hope you enjoy the video, and see you out there soon.